having potatoes with guacamole and cilantro, tomatoes.
So potatoes with all sorts of, if not all the fixings.
Yeah, well, you have
Pretty
red
impressive.
onions with yours too, but
Well,
I
that's good
should
too. Nice
stay
and
away
healthy.
from it because
Were you saying it kind of caused a little bit of headaches or something?
yeah.
I found that onions sometimes, with that when used to give me mild tightness in the head. I really couldn't call it headaches. I found I was so physically active that, I wasn't over like hyperactive or anything like that, but I'd get some sort of exercise every day. I got my first vehicle. It was our first vehicle. Not your first, but mine. When I was 56 years old. So I used to walk pretty well everywhere.
Well, that
Unless
might
I was
be
going
it.
over to the west side.
We might not be hiking enough.
Well, for you, that might be. No, I don't have headaches now. So,
No, I know.
of course, I think you get a lot of activity every day just watering the plants. Things like that. Letting the dogs out every 2 hours. You don't let them out every 2 hours. Someone or another has a accident, I think sometimes on purpose, indoors.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Anyway, I generally do about, with all this heat and stuff like that, close to an hour of watering plants and stuff like that in my place. So that makes a difference, man. It's not, especially before you set up the hose. Because,
and you saw a hummingbird yesterday.
Yeah, I could mention that. Where we figured was a Rufus Wainwright hummingbird. No, it's just it was just a hummingbird. But yeah, they should have
Rufus.
Yeah, they should have called Rufus Wainwright his middle name hummingbird. I wonder if they sing hummingbirds. Probably not. Might not be able to hear them. But yeah, I was watering my tomato plants on the left hand field of vision. I don't see that well out of that side because my southwest quadrant of vision is to a large extent missing from a stroke I had a little over a year ago. It was a very mild stroke. I didn't get a headache or anything like that. It was disorientation. I just lost a little bit of my field of vision. It's in both eyes, but it's takes out the southwest quadrant much of it.
It's amazing what the brain can do, though, because you don't.
The brain just sloughs over.
Yeah, you don't realize that you're missing it unless you close your eyes.
I go like this and look away a little bit. It's totally clear, the central part of my vision. But if I look away here, I can make it so at this distance, my fist pretty close disappears. So it's not really a quarter of my vision missing because I can see it if I move it out here. So anyway, it was coming out of that side, from the southwest quadrant. So at first I thought it was just a locust, and we don't have locusts here. So in other words, a big grasshoppers. I recall we had locusts in Africa, quite big. So it was a little bit like a flashback, and it was literally flashing. Well, not literally, but figuratively, literally flashing.
Because it moves so fast.
It moves so fast.
Yeah. So
I'm watering the tomato plant, and all of a sudden, what I was figuring, this flash from the blast, not a blast from the past, was flashing there, and all of a sudden it just froze. So it was about this far away from the water as I was spraying. Not right, like the tomato plants at my feet, I just let the water run. And then I start to just apply my thumb to make it spray a little. So I think it was maybe not the first row beyond, the next row beyond the first, but the next row to that. So it's, it was kind of up in the air, I was arcing it over. And all of a sudden it was just like a little photo of a hummingbird in the moving picture of life. The water's going and that sort of stuff. There's a little bit, the plants are waving or nodding. Appreciation of the water being applied to them because it's hot. It was about 30 above at that point in time. It was 30 above in Calgary, they were saying then, and we're usually, on average, not usually, but on average, we're 2 degrees warmer than Calgary. So I don't think it got up to 32, but 30 is not overstating the case. Anyone who's a regular watcher should know that I try to underestimate things. I don't try to melodramatize things with inflated stats. If I do, it's just a total accident. It's not to say you can rely on anything I say, stats or whatever. The important thing is to look this stuff up. Look this stuff up. Always look this stuff up and understand whatever you looked up, internet or in books, encyclopedias, is subject to mistakes. You know, people are going around saying the internet's full of all sorts of mistakes. Books are full of all sorts of mistakes. And that's just questions of fact, not just questions of interpretation. So here was this beautiful brown, like a rich brown. It was like a brown jewel or something like that. Brownish. It looked like maybe a semi-precious stone or something like that. Like topaz, but topaz with all sorts of patterns on it and things like that. And it just was hanging there. I guess the wings would have been moving, but they were moving so fast you didn't really basically see them. And then he kind of got a little spooked by me looking at him, moved out of the way. I started watering another tomato plant, and he got on this side of the flow of water, doing the same thing. It was just like seeing a still life.
I wonder if he was getting a little bit of a mist shower or something.
Maybe. Yeah, I would have been afraid if he'd gotten it, that he would have got knocked down. Water and
maybe
birds
just
don't
like
mix
looking
well.
at it.
I think it was thirsty. It's a thirsty time, and I was wondering how I could get that water. I would have left some water for him, but I don't like leaving water standing around. You know, like here I am kind of scratching my hand.
Yeah, just dump it out every day.
From a mosquito bite.
I know.
And you're careful in your yard here about making sure this stuff isn't sitting around. Like compost watermelon rinds, and you go and make sure they're turned upside down
with the watermelon cups. But honestly, I like for guacamole, I've chucked out the skins into the yard, and a lot of the time when I go
like
water,
avocados,
when I set up the sprinkler, I'm sorry, I'm really hot. So I'll notice that they're up like this, and they have some water in them, so I turn them over. But
keep the mosquitoes going a little bit there. Yeah. There's a few in my yard. Anyway, wow, this was like, were you saying you'd never seen a hummingbird in actual real life? You might have seen one in a zoo or something.
I've only seen them in pictures. I've always wanted to.
Yeah. You love birds so much. Like I love birds too, but not the way you do. You know, like I've never kept birds. I helped keep Maxie. She was thoroughly unlovable beast, but you put up with her for a long time. Did you get her in Calgary? Is that what you
Yeah.
Yeah. So you must have put up with her for well over 5 years, maybe close to 10.
Yeah, I lost some of my hearing because of her.
She was a Amazon, a green Amazon?
Mealy green.
Mealy green. And boy, did she scream. And the trouble is, anytime she got mad, she'd scream.
Yeah.
So she'd get mad.
She was very demanding.
Like she'd scratch her head. Usually, was it with her left? Well,
yeah.
I think she
and
was
she's
right-footed.
like, scratch my head.
Yeah, that's right. You know, she'd be screaming, scratch my head. If she was getting hungry, she'd be screaming. Very loud. I think I lost a little bit.
She didn't actually say scratch my head. She
was just screaming.
She was just screaming.
Now she could say things that kind of sounded like she said when you walked in. I don't know if someone had taught this. Like she was kind of like a rescue for you, or was she? Someone had owned her before. What she'd say, it was like a rhyme for how do you do? She'd say, do-do-do. That was the way she'd say how I do. like when you walked in the door, right? I'm not making it up.
No, sometimes she
I don't
make
believe in
nice noises.
sentimentalizing animals. But by the same token, I don't
She
believe
did have
in
a pretty singing
dumbing
voice.
them down.
She just didn't sing nearly enough.
Yeah,
She
she'd
screamed
sing every so
so
occasion.
much
I'd
more
forgotten
than she
about that.
sang.
Yeah. It sounded very nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes she'd sing along to music, would she not? If it was kind of like atmospheric or
Oh yeah, yeah.
soft and melodic, she'd start singing.
Yep.
It was really nice. It just didn't happen nearly enough. It's like it might be months in between singing. Am I making it up?
I don't know. Yeah, it
No.
seemed like almost never.
Mhm.
It seemed like screaming was the noise she wanted to make more than anything.
So Pauline put up with a lot from her.
Finally, a deaf woman wanted her.
Yeah, and we were going.
it was like,
she was
oh my
walking
gosh,
down
this
the
is so
alleyway or
perfect.
something like that. I don't know how. Did she hear Maxie yelling and screaming, or
No.
someone who was with her, because she came with her daughter. Or
somebody had come before.
Hmm.
He'd
It wasn't she who heard it.
no, but anyway, it worked out.
It was a good match.
Yeah.
A deaf woman and a screaming parrot.
No, I should have asked if she was in a condo or something.
Wow. Okay.
That
Yeah, we
might
don't
have-
want to even think
No,
about
we
that.
don't want to think about that.
There's a condo in the neighborhood
Because I did not think about that
Mhm.
until now.
where people who are retirees tend
Yeah.
to congregate. So, yikes! I'd never thought about that. It's been well over 10 years since
Yeah.
she moved on. Pauline was quite devoted to Maxie. Maxie would escape every so occasionally. How many times
Yeah.
here? And you had to climb up a tree at least once to get
Oh,
her.
several times. But
That's where the forestry experience helped. But if even if I had Pauline's experience climbing trees, I'd never climb after a bird. It's too scary. At least she didn't fight you when you got hold of her, right? Or did she?
no, she didn't.
That would have been scary.
But like most of the time, once I got up there, all I'd have to do is I'd have to convince her to pick a spruce tree.
Oh, so she'd be
I-
going from tree to tree while you were
Yeah.
trying to track her down.
So as long as I convinced her, I'd watch for traffic or whatever, and then I'd convince her to go to a spruce tree.
Yeah.
Because that way, I shouldn't tell people this, because I didn't use a saddle or a rope or anything.
You were
'cause
just
I don't have that.
climbing.
I was
without
just free
equipment.
climbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Scary
so
stuff.
I could. Sometimes I'd have to. I had a vehicle, and I'd have to park the vehicle under the tree to get to a point where I could climb up.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd climb on top of the vehicle, and then I'd just climb the spruce tree like a
You've
ladder.
never
'cause
mentioned
sometimes-
that detail to me before.
Sometimes
Fascinating.
people would prune off the lower limbs, right? And I'd just quickly get into the spruce and quickly get out. So,
It wouldn't be fun. Spruce trees are very prickly.
eh,
I know from having planted them for, I believe it was like 10 years in a row.
yeah, no, it was fine. I'd get up there and she'd be like, check out the view. Why don't we do this more often?
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
What took you so long to learn how to fly up here?
I was like, no, we can't be here.
She had quite a sense of humor. Like if we started laughing at our big basset hound,
She'd
laugh
too.
She had a laugh. That's one thing that she picked up from him. As
Or
well as the
if he
doodle-doo.
did something silly, he'd often do something silly.
Oh, he looked so embarrassed when she
Yeah.
started laughing at him. You know?
Yeah, he would look embarrassed.
Yeah.
But she'd laugh at him a lot.
Oh yeah.
She thought he was just an
Not just when
source of
we
entertainment.
laughed at him.
No, yeah.
Yeah. She thought he was a big goof.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. He was a very smart dog.
Yeah. And sometimes he'd cry. He kept blubbering.
Yeah, we mentioned that. With
Poor
the
guy.
tears.
But yeah, I was at the library today and somebody was trying to cough up a lung.
Yeah, like what's that
You
about?
know, it's amazing. Well, it's amazing to me that the public library is open. I'm thankful for it because right now there's free photo or free printing. I don't know why. I think they're trying to encourage people maybe
to come out and spread the COVID around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think they're actually thinking about students. Because
that might be that. Well, that's very nice.
Yeah, I think so. Because that's my hunch anyway. Is they're thinking, well, kids are going to need to print out their assignments or whatever to hand into their teacher.
Yeah.
And or to print out the assignments in the first place, whatever. I don't know. So they'll need a place to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're thinking, but I don't know.
See, isn't that nice of Pauline?
But
some people might think that we're just trying to put the worst interpretation of on things. We're not.
No. I'm very thankful for the public library for a lot of things. Like they got in a whole bunch of great courses.
Yeah.
On a shelf.
Finally, remember when we
I don't
did the
have
great
a DVD
courses
player anymore. Mine died, so.
We'd order the great courses to them, and they'd be coming from Claire's home. What's that? 4,000 population.
Within our district, that's where they tended to come from. But
so thank you, Claire's home and Hayes, not Hayes.
No,
okay.
But anyway, most of them came from Edmonton.
Oh, they came from Edmonton. Okay, but we've got some good books from Hayes, and good books from Claire's home. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, no.
Hayes is
a lot of the great
place.
courses came from originally. Like initially, I was getting the ones that were available within our Chinook, whatever library system, and so those ones were coming from Claire's home.
Yeah. So thank you, Claire's home.
Yeah, but
again, you'll notice how we're pointing out the good things as well. Don't think that we're going around being all negative or stuff like that.
But anyway,
we're not.
I'm not going through the great courses right now because I would rather be getting stuff done outside if I can, and then I'm trying to print off some pages of a book I'm working on. Like I'll go there, type up a chapter, print it off. And anyway.
So I want to emphasize. Oh, sorry.
Poetry, and then I'm revising it. So I don't know how long this free printing thing will last. So I might go back again once I've made revisions. I don't know.
We'll open up the schools and then COVID will go crazy.
Yeah, well, that's it. I'd rather get it all done within this month, so that.
Who knows what's going to happen when they open everything up?
I mean, already there was somebody coughing really badly
at the library.
And so I washed down my face and hair and stuff. And I went back and took my clothes off and washed them.
I knew what you were
doing.
doing.
Hung them out for UV sterilization, and then and I had a bath. But
you just never know how much is getting spread around.
And
a person
I'm so
like
tired.
that should be just at home.
I'm worried that I'm
self-isolating. Doesn't know.
Missing steps and stuff, and that I'm not as careful as I should be, and that
all it takes is one missed time and one missed.
Like I went to take my mask off in the library. I guess it must have been uncomfortable or something, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? You know.
Anyway, I want to emphasize.
I just wasn't thinking.
How we've pointed out the positive things, like twice here today. When we come down on you like a ton of bricks, you richly deserve it. We are looking for the positive out there. No. You've actually, if you're in a bad mood, you pointed out the positive things with two things. See what I'm saying? Even though you.
No. I mean, it could be if I'm negative, it could be that I'm just grumpy.
It could be. I don't think so.
But I'm very thankful for this hot weather because it makes tomatoes grow big. Lots and lots of fruit.
Yeah, it seems like every day I go water my tomatoes are like strangers because they seem to have grown in 24 hours.
I know. Every time I see them, it's incredible.
Or at least the ones that are doing well. Even the ones that weren't doing that well for a while, they've started to overwhelm.
Like these golden berries here. I wanted to move the table and chairs to the other side, and then I thought, well, what am I going to hold up these golden berries with? Because they got so big now, they
fell
just
over. They fell over one day.
And
I didn't know what to do about them.
I didn't either. So then I decided, okay, well, they're going to be held up by the chairs, but the table is wobbly here. So
that's not a good
it's not a great
position for it. I hope he keeps tipping it and tipping stuff that's on it.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all I really have to mention. I don't know how long people are going to be able to continue to go out safely, because I guess there's already exponential growth
In Alberta.
in
she's talking
Alberta,
about.
and
Low numbers yet, but very worrying numbers. So, thank you to the doctor who started the, I hope it's going to be string of demonstrations to get Jason Kenney and Tyler Shandro and Dina Hinshaw to do the right thing. Please do the right thing, you cockamamie assholes. Sorry, I don't like swearing like that, but yeah, I'm going to let that stand. You guys should resign. Fact is, everyone in your caucus should resign. Anyone who's been supporting you, cockamamie, you know what, should resign. We should have by-elections for all you idiots.
all right. Well, I guess I'm gonna go grind up some peas.
So again, we
Cooked
pointed out
pot
that
of
doctor
peas.
was doing a good thing. Hey, that's 3 things we're positive about. Again, I emphasize, if we're negative about you or something you like, you or whatever you like deserve it.